Recently, Miss Universe Philippines hosted Gala night and I'm thrilled about it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Dani Walker. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that notifications bell. I'm so excited to talk about this because it was a very, very fun show. Lots of fashion, seemed like a great time. I wish I could have been there in person. So a lot of you requested this episode, which is why we're talking about this today. And so what first I'm going to talk about is the evening gown segment, and the contestants came out in different groups. So I want to talk about contestants that stood out to me, and then I want to talk about ultra favorite contestants for that part of the show. So in no particular order, let's discuss. Laguna, loved her facial transitions. Lou, I felt like she did pretty well for this segment. For this portion, Lou was kind of in the middle for me for this. I think that she did well enough to stand out, but I wouldn't say that this performance was in my top 5 walks for this particular competition walk event. Jadida had presence. That's what I want to say. I just felt that from her when she walked across the runway, and I loved it. Bulacan just felt like a model doing her job. Great. Albay seemed very relaxed, very comfortable on the runway, and that is very important. Palawan did a great job working her gown. So those are some of my favorites, but I want to talk about ultra favorites for the gowns, like the ones that really, really stood out to me and really caught my attention. First of all, Aklan, what a strong entrance that she had. She was really, really working it. I was feeling that. I would only suggest keep the head up a little bit more. I feel like sometimes she dips it a little bit too low, but I want her to pull up. But regardless, wow, it was great to watch. Ilo City really worked it here. Oh, my gosh. I was very impressed, and actually out of her group, she had my favorite performance. Pasay, easy pick, right? And also I will say her hair, wow, I wish I had that volume. I wonder if it's all hers or if it's extensions. It looks like it's hers. Mandawi, loved it, love her all the time. I just wish she would have held the pose at the end a little bit longer. Makati, I will say she looked great in gold. That was a great gown choice for her, although I'm sure she didn't really get the final say on this piece of wardrobe, but the thing that impressed me, her spin turn at the end of the runway before she left. Okay, can't wait to see what you're bringing to the prelims. Negros Oriental, oh my gosh. Let's just say what was very impressive is that you could tell that the skirt of this gown was too long on her, but she did not trip, she did not make a fuss over it, she worked it, and her facials here, chef's kiss. Pangasinan nailed this competition, but my one note is that I think she held the poses a little bit too long, and then the other contestant that came behind her had to sort of wait, so we're creating this traffic jam. You can't do that on show day, but regardless, the walk is there, the facials, the poses, love all of it. Misamis Oriental never overdoes it, and she really carried this gown. She was so elegant. Quick pause to say that if you're a pageant contestant preparing for your next competition and you want to learn how to stand out in that interview room, then make sure to check out Rehearsed to Relatable. Information for that is linked in the description. Kizan Province, I can remember watching her swimsuit challenge video where she was walking on the sand, and I thought she was doing great there with her poses and turns. But this little turn that she did at the end of the runway, very, very impressive. Okay, now I'm really looking out for prelims. What are you about to bring to the stage? Tagig, she is telling me more and more and more that she is my winner. She is just rising. She is rising. She is always consistent, always beautiful in everything. I'm telling you, if she gets into a top 5, she is a very easy pick for the judges. I think she would do incredibly well at Miss Universe. Let me know though in the comments who your favorite was for the evening gown segment of Gala night. And remember to keep those comments kind. Let's always be supportive and encouraging of the contestants. The next portion of the night was more casual overall. We got to see the contestants modeling for different designer collections, and some were in activewear, some were in streetwear, some were back in gowns again, so we got to see all sorts of things. Several contestants really stood out to me, so I'm going to talk about my initial favorites, and then once again we're going to switch over to those ultra faves in no particular order. First contestant is Baguio, always beautiful, always consistent. I always say it, she's photogenic. I love her, and I really liked her pose at the end of the runway. Vitanis did not overdo the walk, and it was right on. It was so great for the outfit that she was wearing. It made sense. Bahal, also very relaxed in the activewear. The walk complemented the wardrobe. Bulacan, great walk, and a fierce face to complement it. So I was really feeling that. Cebu City's performance for this was my favorite walk of hers of the night. And it's just so interesting to see the effect of wardrobe on every contestant. Some are really well suited for gowns, while others are really shining in streetwear or activewear. It's surprising. De Val del Norte, just great job. She looks like a professional. I also want to mention that Iloilo City's walk is versatile. That's the way I would describe it. I felt like she was doing a great job capturing the essence of what she was wearing for really the entire night, but she stood out here especially. Miss Oriental, once again, a standout. To me, she's one of those contestants, so that I expect that. She's proven to be very consistent. Now I'm going to share my ultra faves for the second half of these walks. Laguna was ultra fierce. I love this. She was clearly feeling that outfit or feeling the music or something, but it was working. For this segment, we saw these cool streetwear pieces, and it's really funny because the contestant that I was waiting to see in this segment was Makati, and then she ended up being in this segment because I could really just feel her working some of these pieces, and of course she did. She was selling it. To me, for this, Lou was perfection. Absolutely perfection. If I was casting for a show and I was looking for models that fit that designer, she would be booked immediately. Negros Oriental, she had a perfectly timed over-the-shoulder look with a drop of what she was wearing over, whether it was a blouse or a blazer, whatever you want to call it. It was perfect. Mandawi was gorgeous, and I have to say that when I watched her specifically, I felt like I was actually watching Fashion Week. I did not feel like I was watching a pageant contestant in a runway show, and there is a difference. And that is something that I want to mention because there were quite a few contestants that I love, but as I was watching them, there's a difference between a style of walk in pageantry and fashion. It's a subtle difference. In pageantry, you're showing off you. In fashion, you're really showcasing the clothes, and it's not about you. So there's a different way of presenting it, different posing, facials, all of that. And I felt like she specifically was nailing this and really looked like a professional. Palawan really worked that long duster that she was wearing. It was cute, it was appropriate, and I want to say I also did notice her during the other segments, but for me, this was her best walk and performance. Pangasinan, always a hit with me. It's my note. Love her. Love her. Quezon Province, what a beautiful choice for her. This silver gown with embellishments on the top. It was perfection. I couldn't have asked for more if I booked her myself. Victoria City in this white gown, oh my gosh, now I kind of hope that she competes in white. It was stunning on her, and the way that she worked it was lovely. Pasay, this was my favorite walk of hers. It was beautifully styled too, I must say. She looked like an absolute celebrity. To Gig, of course, we're going to mention her. You guys know she's one of my favorites, but it seemed like she ended up being the grand finale piece, and honestly, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like she earned it. It reminded me of a lot of bridal shows where they finish with the large oversized gown that has the cathedral veil. It was that type of vibe going on here, and she was definitely the showstopper in that segment. Then after all of that, before they ended the night, they showcased the new crown. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with it. And that's for personal reasons because it's gold and it has these pearl embellishments, and it just reminds me of a mermaid swimming up out of the sea. Like, here you go. Here's a sea treasure for you, right? And I just love that. I'm such a fan of, I guess you could say, sea or nautical inspired jewelry pieces. So for me, it's a really, really big hit. I also want to know what you thought of this new crown because I just loved it so much. I think it's going to be gorgeous on stage. I can't wait. So those are my thoughts though for this portion of the competition. I thought it was so fun to see. I want to see more things like this for any pageant, especially though for these contestants because it's just really fun watching their journey. Thank you so much for joining in for this episode. If you want to see more like it, I would really suggest checking out the recent ones that were about the top 32 reveal and also the all access episodes. I loved covering those. And also, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to check out the merch store. That is something I greatly appreciate. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope that you subscribed and that you hit the notifications so that you'll know when new episodes come out every single week. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you soon.